welcome to Cover Story. This week we have with us Trinamool Congress leader Derek O'Brien, who is also the party's leader in the Rajya Sabha. Welcome to Cover Story.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming. And also, while it would be, I think a lot of people are saying Trinamool Congress has wrested the initiative from the opposition on demonetisation, you also are the face of the party's attack in Parliament. I mean, you've really launched the attack.
I don't think it's about Trinamool Congress wresting the initiative. This is not about any, ego or someone being ahead of the other. Yes.
Ego hai. Why didn't the Congress join?
Yes, Mamta Di, who doesn't have a PhD in economics, but she founded a party which means grassroots, because Trinamool means grassroots.
Correct.
Within 1.5 hours of this announcement, she basically said two things. That this was going to cause a lot of suffering to people across the board, and two, it was going to kill the economy. So from day one, she has been raising this flag. Over the first 1 or 2 days, no one was kind of, as clear in her direction as Mamata Di was. Then on the 16th, we went to Rashtrapati Ji. 3-4 parties. But then, as this was rolling out, I think more parties, and that's okay if you need time to assess the situation, agreed with Mamata Di. So now opposition parties are meeting every day and planning a strategy. So I think the first thing is, it was not only about the implementation which Mamata Di flagged, it was also about the idea. Because this is also killing the economy. See, this is also making a mess of the entire economy. Listen to these numbers. GDP per day is 45,000 crores. Of this, 59% is private consumption or household financial expenditure. 59%. Now, that is 26,500 crores. Now, 87% of that is in cash. So that's 23,000 crores. So from the 8th of November, let's say 10 days, from the 8th of November to the 18th of November, when it's really been bad, we've lost 2.5 lakh crores in 10 days. Now, what does that mean? Quarter 1, you were plus. Quarter 2, you were plus. Quarter 3, you're going down. And by quarter 4, you'll have negative GDP. This is the sad situation. So things are going to go very bad, whether it's the agricultural, the cooperative sector, whether construction. Construction, December to March is important time for construction. Kuch nahi ho raha hai. Tea garden workers, jute workers, farmers, housewives, middle class. It is not only about ATM queues. ATM queue khatam ho jayega and everything will be fine.
That is what the government, Mr. Jaitley is also saying, that it's bad for maybe the short term, but medium and long term there will be benefits.
See,
they keep reiterating that.
Mr. Jaitley is a parliamentarian who I respect a lot. But Mr. Jaitley, 1 week after the announcement, he said everything is 100% thought out and 100% implementation. So let's not start. Mr. Jaitley is very good at words, but the action on the ground is far away from that. It is a complete mess. And Mr. Jaitley is trying to tell us, it's not Mr. Jaitley's point of view or Derek's point of view. Look at the situation on the ground. And then you have a poll on an app which says 93%. As Mamta Di said, if 93% like your scheme, right, why don't we do a referendum on this? Who are these 93%? See, please understand, there's one very basic important statistic. 4 out of 5 villages in India do not have a bank. 95% of people who use a debit card in India only use it to withdraw cash. Now, one mantri privately told me, when I buy my sabzi, I buy it on credit card. When I buy my fruits, I buy it on credit card. When I pay my laundry bill, I buy it on credit card.
I know which one it is.
No, I'm not going to get into the details because that was a private conversation. But the point here is, it doesn't work like this. We are a cash economy. And there's another big problem. You want to bring this out, Priya. You want to bring out this scheme. You tell me what in this scheme is going to prevent the future generation of black money. What is going to prevent the future?
So you're saying
Nothing.
It's not targeting the source.
Exactly. Listen, black money, corruption, Trinamool have been raising from 1995. You see the parliamentary records. Even in 2014, we brought this issue up in Parliament. And the bigger problem here is, anyone who opposes Pradhan Mantri Ji's scheme, kya bolta hai? He says we are anti-national. He says we are corrupt. It doesn't work like this. This is a democracy. We are flagging some real issues. Now every day they'll make one change. First you could go and use your old currency notes to buy petrol. Now, and the farmer couldn't buy seeds. So you're making these changes every day. You haven't thought of the scheme.
But it's
mismanagement, it's bad implementation, and it's an ill-conceived scheme. I can go on this. Listen, this secrecy issue. Secrecy, we didn't tell anyone because we had to keep it secret. Arey Baba, if you had to keep it secret because you were printing new notes, why didn't you print more 100 rupee notes quietly? No one would have bothered. What is bothering me most is that I don't think anybody in the cabinet also had any clue of this decision, because what is one of the big problems today? There's no currency. 50 ka note nahi hai, 100 ka note nahi hai. How will people manage?
But the whole argument was secrecy. Otherwise, what is the use of doing such a bold move if it's going to be leaked out?
Who's saying you not... Listen, when the atom bomb was dropped in Hiroshima, that was also secret. But what was the result? You cannot make secrecy the excuse for pain. You know, if you know 4 out of 5 banks in India don't have... 4 out of 5 villages in India don't have a bank, so you need good connectivity, right? Secrecy cannot be the excuse for pain. That's what I'm trying to say. Now, Jan Dhan, you're talking about JAM. Okay, the Jan Dhan accounts, the mobile phones. If you knew that the connectivity had to be good when you were doing the spectrum auctions, at that time you should have tried to improve the telephony. No one would have thought, you know, oh, kuch currency change ho raha hai. So it's come now. About 49% of the total currency is 500 rupee notes. Even if you wanted to do this, you should have done it to the 1,000 rupees, but not to the 500 rupees. You've sucked out 86% of the currency in one go. You should have made, you know, so there are many, and this is not about Trinamool spokespersons. You talk to economists, whether you talk to economists, whether you talk to students of economics, or whether you talk to farmers, whether you talk to agricultural cooperative, you kept those banks out. You talk to anybody, you talk to traders, you talk to tea garden workers, you talk to jute gardens, everyone. This is a problem for everyone.
But you're saying it's a good move but badly implemented, or
it is not a good move. I will tell you why it is not a good move.
The idea
I will tell you why
it
is not a good move. What have you done for electoral funding in this move? 80% of funds which go into political parties are for unknown sources.
Right.
Yeah, if it goes in for unknown sources means it's what? Number 2, what have you done which will stop the generation of black money in the future? You've done nothing. And by the way, only 6% of the black is cash. There's a 94% which is gold and a property. So you have not tackled these issues. And by the way, what about the 90 lakh crores which was lying in the foreign accounts? What have you done with that? You've done nothing. Mr. Modi, our Prime Minister, says, I am the Messiah. And all of you are devils. This is not good.
No, a lot of people have taken, they've not been happy at the fact the way he's reacted. You know, he's saying everybody standing in line as scamsters. He was, of course, targeting the Congress or the allegations on chit fund. So it has become a bit personal, hasn't it?
No, it's not about being personal. Personal is not about personal. When you're talking about 75 people dying, when you're talking about a minister also, his brother dies, why minister? Mr. Gowda from Karnataka, his brother who's 56-year-old died. It's not only about a minister's brother. It's about a child whose father couldn't save the child because the hospital. And besides the hospitals, there are people you go, they are, you know, daily wage earners. 80% of the unorganized, of the GDP today comes from the unorganized employment. What are we talking about? There's deep suffering. And please understand, let's not... And then the government says, ATM queues will be finished in 14 days. This is not about a pain in the ATM queue. People's lives are at stake. People's livelihoods are at stake. The economy is at stake. And this is a brutal blow to everyone.
You know what the government is telling us off record, of course. They are saying, look, there will be some, you know, incentives or whatever announced later. Child Jan Dhan accounts mein they'll deposit money. Tax breaks are being promised. So will you know the mood. The election is only 2019. So there is a lot of time to overcome 1 month of pain.
The government runs a plantation business. Plantation माने क्या? वो stories plant करता है. उसके मैं plantation बोलता हूँ. This is not the time to plant stories. Venkaiah Naidu says everything will be well in 10 days. The finance minister says everything is fine now.
But they can't press the panic button either.
The Pradhan Mantri says 50 days. You know, 50 days, you and I will survive 50 days because we are plastic. What about people 50 days? What? They can't survive 5 das. It is a hand-to-mouth existence. You know, what are we talking about? And please understand, this is not only the opposition parties. This is not only the opposition parties. If you take BJP MPs' views, 280 of them, privately, I am not so sure even 50% of BJP MPs are supporting this.
But the key thing is that publicly no one is opposing it. You'll forget the MPs. I know MPs can't, but the traders, look at it. I was expecting traders to protest and do
this is not only about traders. This is about
the
everybody.
Daily wage workers.
Please walk around the streets. Go to rural, suburban, urban. There is a lot of pain. You cannot spin this. What is the problem today? The government is trying to spin this. You know, anybody who opposes this is corrupt. Anybody who opposes this is anti-national. Okay? And, you know, this is the spin. And we are trying to take out black money to take from the corrupt and give it to the poor. These spins will not work. I can tell you the situation on the ground is grim. The situation is grim. You cannot spin this anymore in television studios and through fantasy mobile app polls.
You know, you're a quiz master, so you know the art of asking questions to get the answer you like. So I noticed that, you've mentioned something about the kind of questions that were asked in the PM's app also.
Listen, let us not discuss this PM's app because I'm actually quite disappointed. The PM should not have got 92%. 92% Milana approval rating. Unka to 100% approval rating. He should have got 100% approval rating. Because I was, in fact, upset that he'd come to the Rajya Sabha. He got 92%. He didn't get 100%. I was worried whether he'll come and break down now in the Rajya Sabha. You know, why? You write the question paper. You decide the marks. You correct the papers. You announce the results. Doesn't work. It doesn't work. But if he's feeling good about it, very, very good.
But it's not just the PM. There was a sea water survey also that gave him high marks. So, that's their answer to that.
Priya, where are we going? We are clutching onto straws. This is a government. Are we going to talk about some voter survey or an app? Come away from Lululand. Come to the reality. Please go and travel. I believe even if you ask the bureaucrats who are traveling around, they come back. The situation is very grim. When I was speaking in Rajya Sabha, I'm not a body language expert. There was Dr. Manmohan Singh spoke before me. Mayawati ji was after. And I was 4 seats away from the Prime Minister. I can tell you, one of my hobbies is body language. The body language yesterday wasn't good. And it was eyeball to eyeball. The body language of the Prime Minister is not good because I think he's not only getting opposition feedback, but listen, it's not about that. It's about the Prime Minister understanding that, hey, listen, I made a mistake on the 8th of November, 8 p.m. I made a blunder, and you must have the humility to turn that around rather than now keep pressing on the accelerator. And we're giving you some real solutions. We're not asking you to tinker. One day you announce this, next day you announce that.
So what is your solution?
The solution is, no. We are being very real.
What is the solution?
The solution is first, simple solutions. First, you restore normalcy. Now,
which means?
To restore normalcy, which means you need to restore normalcy. So one of the things we are suggesting, the first thing to restore normalcy is you allow the old 500 rupee notes and you allow the new 500 rupee notes to go parallel.
Okay.
You have to have. Number two, you make more currency available in the market, especially 150. Now the government will say, we've taken out 14 lakh crore currency, so to put this currency back, I need to print more 2,000 rupee notes. That's not the problem. That's what you've got wrong.
Need to have more usable currency.
You need to have more usable currency. You give somebody who earns 2,000 rupees a month, you give him a 2,000 rupee note. What will he do? What will he do with the 2,000 rupee note? Pay 150 rupees to his child's tuition. go to the sabzi mandi and buy something for 80 rupees. What do you want it to do? Make it into little parts and then give it. It doesn't work.
No,
so these are the solutions. So restore normalcy.
But they've done parallel 500s today, recently the cabinet decision. They said, and certain outlets...
Listen. Maybe
they've taken a leaf out of your book.
Listen, it's not about my book or... See, we are... Because Mamta Di raised this first, we have to solve this. No, this is not about an ego. We need to find the solutions. Now, to find the solutions, I can offer you one or two straight solutions. To restore normalcy, you have to have currency. Now, you only started printing your currency on the 4th of September. Why did you do that? Secrecy. Now, if you keep, the currency shortage is going to be there minimum till June 2017. But interestingly, if you look at the government's narrative, they're not talking about currency. They're talking about plastic. This is the problem. Plastic is not the solution. Are Baba, we are all for plastic. See, Priya, there is black money, there is black wealth. There is black money, there is white money. But you have to understand in India, the flow between black money and white money is a flow. Let me give you an example. You go, your car gets a tire puncture. Okay? You give him 200 rupiah. वो ले लिया 200 रुपया तुम्हारा व्हाइट मनी है ना चेक से 200 रुपया वो ले लिया वो 200 रुपया ले लिया वो 100 रुपया से he has spent it somewhere okay that is become in the black now out of that 100 rupees he now goes and buys a cinema ticket from white it's become black now he buys a cinema ticket there's a tax again it's become white so it's a flowing economy it's a flowing economy you need to understand this is not some Monday morning you get up and you get up and you take one 56-inch decision.
Okay, I know you have a whole lot of more examples. We're going to take a short break, but stay with us. As you can see, this is a very interesting discussion. Welcome back to Cover Story. We are in conversation with Trinamool leader Derek O'Brien, talking to him about demonetisation and also about the role of opposition. We've seen Mamta Banerjee really take the lead in the land acquisition amendments rollback. It was Sonia Gandhi who marched and the Congress really took the visual initiative. No, I know Ratan Tata and all that, but...
Listen. Land acquisition, who led a march to Rashtrapati Bhavan? Let's not go there. Let's talk about Singur.
Yes, I know.
Singur from 2005, 2006. I don't know who led any march. But in Singur, 2005, 2006, the thing with Mamta Di is when she believes in something which is a people's movement, she starts it, even if she's alone. Singur was a very important... And there are so
I'll grant you that. Okay,
but 1 minute, let me finish. And today, Singur, what has the Supreme Court said about that land acquisition in Singur? What about the whole India's policy on land acquisition?
But we want to go on to the monetization. No, my point, simple point was that in the parliament, with this Narendra Modi government, when he tried to pass those amendments, the Congress was really, visually they claimed to have taken the initiative. Whereas in the demonetization march, it was Mamta Banerjee who took the initiative. Congress, I know, did not join the march because they did not really want to give her the credit for being the leader of opposition, so to speak.
See, it is not about taking the credit. You know who you
Politics is...
You know who you are. I know Mamta Di. I've had the privilege of working with her for the last 14 years. Singur was, it's not only about Singur, there are at least 11 movements for the last 25 years she has been leading those movements. We know Singur because it's the most high profile. You see, and it's always an uphill task. Today, even today, since you're talking about demonetization, we are sitting in a state government, which we are running. What is the centre doing? All these changes they made in the last 15-20 days, they're all central sector changes. Aviation, railways. What have you done for the states? What have you done for the state sector? You're talking about federalism and what do they call it? Cooperative federalism. This is not cooperative federalism. If you're talking about cooperative federalism, then let all the states also allow the 500 rupee notes. You will sit on your high horse and you will give all these central directions. Railways, aviation, banks. Won't do. Please, go ahead.
No, I was talking about more than the role of the opposition. How do you see this? This has been a big move in the sense of, we've seen people uniting, we've seen an Omar Abdullah marching next to her, we saw even the Shiv Sena marching next to her.
It is not about A or B marching next to her. There's another group of people who you don't see physically marching in front of her when she's walking to Rashtrapati Bhavan, and that is the millions of Indians who identify with the causes she picks up. And the name of this party means Trinamool equals grassroots. So what the editorial line or what an op-ed says in 2.5 of the national media, I know the media is very important, or what some ranting and raving channel is trying to say, that doesn't guide Trinamool Congress. We are guided by what we believe is best for the people.
And also about the Prime Minister, this insistence on the Prime Minister to speak in the House. Now, isn't it the prerogative of the Prime Minister to decide when he wants to speak?
Please understand, now you're getting away from this demonetization issue, and that's fine, and you're discussing parliamentary strategy and tactics. Parliamentary strategy and tactics is parliamentary tactics. Okay, let's not talk too much about not allowing the House to run. If you check the parliamentary records of 2010, I can't remember the date, but it's sometime in December 2010. That was the time our current leader of the House was that time leader of the opposition, Arun Jaitley ji. And you see his wonderful quotes of that time. I can't remember the exact words, but the feel was, the disruption of the House is great for a democracy. The disruption of the House reflects the will of the people outside. So this is part of parliamentary tactics. So please do not mix up the situation outside. There again, the narrative is the opposition is shying away from a discussion. You know, in 2010, it's a record. We've done what, 5 days, 6 days. The BJP NDA, the BJP opposition that time disrupted the House for 22 days out of the 24. That is parliamentary tactics. And in Lok Sabha, what are we asking for? When I say we, means these 200 opposition MPs. We're asking for a discussion. The government also wants a discussion. Government wants a discussion as per Rule 193, which is a discussion and no voting. We are saying that, hello, we want a discussion under 56, Rule 56. Interesting, it's chappan also. So if you have a chappan inch, then come and discuss in Rule 56, because Rule 56 means there will be voting. You have the full majority. Come and vote. Now, for the Speaker, and it's her decision, to allow an adjournment motion, as per the rules, you need 50 MP. 50 MPs to move the motion. 50. Now you look at the numbers now. Congress have got 44. Trinamool have got 36. AIDMK 36. AIDMK have got 40. What is that number? If you add AAP 2, if you add all other parties who are on the adjournment motion, the number will come to more than 150, 200. What is the minimum requirement? 50. I cannot say what will happen to the Lok Sabha because that's the decision of the Speaker. 50 is the number, but there are 200 MPs. This is the reality, because we want to vote. Now, let's talk about Rajya Sabha. Rajya Sabha, different opposition parties, their demands may be different. But the bottom line is that yes, the Prime Minister needs to be there. Some parties are demanding a JPC, right? I think there's Congress. SP. We don't want a JPC.
Why?
We don't want a JPC because we've studied JPCs. We've studied the history of JPCs. 7 JPCs. 2G JPC, Harshad Mehta JPC, Ketan Parak JPC, all JPCs. JPC se kuch nahi hota hai. This issue will be buried under the table and the people will still suffer. The solution is not JPC. The solution is restore normalcy, and if necessary, please eat up, swallow is the right word, some of your ego, Mr. Pradhan Mantri. You're our Prime Minister, Priya's Prime Minister, Derek's Prime Minister, our Prime Minister. If you've done something which is untoward on the 8th, try and correct it now. We humbly appeal to the Prime Minister. And I'm sure he's not watching this program, but I will still appeal to him.
No, he's watching NewsX, so hopefully he will see the show. But thank you for talking to us, and nice to see you have all the answers, not just the questions.
Thank you, Priya.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Well, that's it for this week. See you again, same time next week.